What's up, everybody? I'm Steve and welcome to Jerome's Chrome. Over the last couple weeks, I've been doing quite a bit of thinking about the C3 Corvette. I've been doing a lot of research and putting together an action plan on what I want to do with the car moving forward. I'm ready to get back to work on this car ASAP, but there's a couple things I want to show you guys first. A couple videos ago, I got a comment from Richard Earth Ranger 1060 that said, "Your car looks like it's been in an accident and they did not put it together right. They did a fast job." And then he went on to give some more fantastic advice. But that comment got me thinking. I've been kind of looking at this car as little issues here and there in the engine bay and just kind of seeing different things that I kind of thought were individual issues. But once I got that comment, I started thinking, you know what? I think it is all tied together. So today I want to talk about the reasons why I think this car has been wrecked and show you some of my areas of concern and maybe get some opinions from you guys on what you think I should do about it. So let's take a look. So reason number one why I think this car might be wrecked in the front, and stop me if this is obvious, but the whole front clip is a different color than the rest of the car. Duh. So before I thought, man, these guys really sucked at painting. And I wonder what happened here on why this front clip is so mismatched with the rest of the car. And that's about as far as my thought process really went with it. But now that I think about it, it kind of makes sense that since the whole front clip is one big unit, that maybe potentially it had damage or was replaced, and then they just tried to paint match that and were extremely unsuccessful at it. Because now that I think about it, I really can't think of any other reason why the front clip would be a different color than the rest of the car. Can you? And just because it got resprayed the wrong color doesn't mean that the whole front clip is a new front clip, but it's just one clue kind of pointing in that direction. So that's one big clue, but there's more. Let's get in here and check out this firewall real quick. Right there is a crack. I don't know how common it is for a firewall to just crack on its own or what could have caused that to happen, but that's definitely a, I don't know, 3 to 4 inch crack on that firewall right there. And I guess that's a little bit concerning. It's probably not that big of a deal. It's probably something I can just throw some filler on, give it a quick sand before I paint the firewall, and it's no big deal at all. But it is another sign that points to maybe this car was wrecked. And that's just a little tiny crack compared to this next one. You guys gotta check out this wheel well. Let me climb in there so I can get close up so you can really appreciate this fantastic bodywork that has been done ahead of me. Now, I'm not here to talk smack on whoever patched up this wheel well. I don't know what their intentions were at the time or what they were going through in their life, okay? But what I am going to say is that it's not a very good job at all. Check out that crack and just the overall amount of thickness that is sticking out after the repair. There is some chunks of stuff in there. I don't know what it is because this is fiberglass. So there's some stuff just kind of globbed in there, holding it all together. I'm just going to assume it's JB Weld because that makes the most sense. That's what I would have done if I were them doing this. But definitely not professional. Definitely not factory. So that is another clue that this car has been wrecked, because this was cracked pretty bad at one point and someone just kind of patched it together. And to be perfectly honest with you, I don't really want to keep it that way. I kind of want to fix that. You know, I'm not trying to be perfect with this car by any means, but I'd like to at least kind of smooth that out and try to make it look a little better. I think I could lightly hit that with the grinder and aggressively hit it with a sander, skim it with a little bit of body filler and just kind of make it look better. But what do you guys think? What would you do with that situation? Would you just leave it, paint over it, and be like, whatever? Or take the time to do something a little bit more than what I just said? Let me know your thoughts in the comments on that one, because it's definitely something I've been tossing around in my head over the last couple weeks on what I want to do about it, and it's just kind of slowing things down a little bit. So I want to get that figured out and get going on getting that fixed or ignoring it completely before I move on. Another thing I'm not sure about are the seams on this firewall. I'm not sure if this is factory or if this is something that somebody else did. So I know that sometimes in the St. Louis plant in 1978, sometimes they got a little bit crazy with the seam sealer, but I'm not sure if this is factory or not. See that edge there and how that's all globbing out of there and running down along all of the edge of this seam on the firewall? I just don't know. I tried to look at some C3 Corvettes before I made this video so I could have a little more info on what this looked like, but I didn't get an opportunity. I mean, look right here. It looks like somebody had seam sealer on their finger and just wiped it off on the firewall. Is that factory? I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that a factory seam seal on this firewall? Or is that something that somebody else did whenever they were doing some repairs? Here's the view from the other side, so you can check it out a little bit better. Let me know what you guys think. Another reason why I think the car's been wrecked and put together poorly is the shoddy bodywork all over the car. Like, check out these scratches right here. That's not scratches in the paint. That is sand marks that's in filler underneath the paint that wasn't sanded out very well. That's just one example. Right in here, you can see poor body work and a lot of sanding scratches in there. And there's little pinholes in the filler along this edge here on the fender. Lots of chunks and ruckus around this door handle. But the best is this. Right here they did a repair and they just, threw some fiberglass on there and just painted right over it. Didn't even put any filler on there or anything. Just painted directly over the top of the fiberglass. That right there is taking the phrase patching it up to a whole new level. The person who did this did not care at all. But to their credit, I guess it's better than having a hole there, I guess. And we also got some stuff going on here in this front end. Like, for example, these bolts right here aren't all the way in. And those same bolts on this side are not there at all. And this is just loose and not attached. And you can see on this side where this frame horn, we'll call it, I don't know if that's the right term, but that's what we're going to call it. It is surrounded by fiberglass, by, car. But on this side, it is all broken out. Chunks missing and just pretty patched up in there altogether. So I don't know if this is broken out of there because they wanted to set this fender down over the top of that, or if it's broken out for a myriad of other reasons, but it's definitely broken. And that's definitely another reason to think that it's been butchered on a little bit. Another thing I've been staring at a couple weeks and I can't decide on is this sway bar. I can't decide if it's bent. Is this thing bent or not? Or is that an acceptable amount of wave? I keep looking at it from different angles and I keep thinking, it's okay. And I posted about it on Facebook and I think the general consensus was, yeah, maybe it's a little bit tweaked, but it's not that bad. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Is it bent? Is it too bent? No big deal? Do you think it's been in an accident? And do you think I need to replace it? Replacing a sway bar is no big deal, but You know, I'm just wondering if this is another thing that has to do with this car being in an accident. And check out how on this side, this comes straight up and makes a line there. But on this side, where it should come up and make a straight line, there's this whole little booger here sticking out. What's that about? So I think all that stuff so far is definitely pointing towards, yeah, the car was probably wrecked. But in the grand scheme of things, none of that really matters that much. There's some minor setbacks in there, but there is one thing that is just kind of freaking me out just a little bit, and it's these door to fender gaps here. Like I said, I'm not trying to make this a show car and make it perfect, but this gap on this door and fender is a little bit unacceptable. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's got to be better than that. And some of you are saying, what are you all tripping about, man? It's just a gap. Adjust the door and adjust the fender. And yeah, that makes total sense. But if you don't know, adjusting the fender on this car is just a little bit different than it is on your typical car. I've had quite a few comments over the last few months along the lines of, I'm no Corvette expert, but why don't you take off the fenders and make your life a whole lot easier when it comes to cleaning up that engine bay and taking things out of the engine compartment and whatnot. And if I didn't know what I know now, I'd be saying the same exact thing. So let me show you guys real quick how these fenders attach onto this car. So there's not really a lot of bolts bolting the fenders and bumper on. It's more just kind of glued on. Like right here you can see, here's the inside of the fender, and it just goes seamlessly in to this firewall area and connects all the way over there as one big piece, which wraps all the way around to the front, which is all still connected in one big piece. So it's not just two fenders, it's all connected. And it's not just glued on here at the top of the firewall. On the edge of the fenders here, where it comes down here onto the body, it's glued on all along the bottom. It's glued to the firewall there. It's glued to the firewall in there. Then the fender is then also glued onto the wheel wells in those areas. It's glued all up underneath there and then is just molded in to the fender right here. Just completely just part of the body / wheel well junction. It's all just one. So in order to get the front clip off, you have to break those bonds all along there and up in the firewall, all up here and some stuff I'm not exactly 100% sure about, but definitely down there. And you got to get under there with like a chisel and just like chisel it and break it all along the seams and then pull it all off as one unit. I don't really want to do that. But my point is not that it's a bunch of hard work to get the front clip off and I'm too lazy and unskilled to do it. My point is that I fear that someone else already did it, and when they put it back on, they glued it on crooked. So what I'm scared of is that the whole front clip of the car is tilted down, creating this big gap up here at the top. I mean, based on what we've seen, it definitely looks like this front clip could be a new front clip put on this car, or there's just been a lot of body work done to it. And we know based on the patches in the door jamb that they might not have, went to a lot of attention to detail on putting things back together. So it's not out of question to think that maybe they put that on a little bit crooked. Like, look here along the bottom. This door is nice and straight, 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 straight. And then here, boom. This is uneven right here. And this line right here is nice and straight until you get to this little section right here. And then there's a different kind of gap going on right there. So it kind of almost looks like it's a little bit pointed down right there, but I could be tripping. I know this door is not adjusted correctly. Like there's a pretty big gap right here where the door is lower than the rear quarter, which if that goes up in that way, it's going to move that gap up in that way a little bit. So I know that there's plenty of door adjustment that I could probably get out of this. The door hinges aren't saggy. I already tested it. I grabbed it, yanked on it, and there's not a whole lot of like play in the pins or the hinges, but there is some adjustability in the hinges where you can move the door around. As far as adjusting the fenders in the front clip, there's not much. I mean, it could be that the body mounts being old and crusty and collapsed like that are contributing to some of that sag in the front end. So maybe replacing those will kind of help out a little bit. And I do think I have maybe a little bit of adjustment right here where the frame kind of mounts onto the wheel well area here. I'm not sure if I can loosen those up and maybe get a little bit of upward movement out of this or not. It's the same thing on the passenger side. A big gap on the top and almost completely touching on the bottom. And on this side, the door gap on the rear is actually even better than it is on the driver's side. Still some adjustability there, but I don't know if it's enough to make up that gap that's up there on the top or not. Another reason I think that front clip might be on a little crooked is look at the holes where the core support bolts in right here. That one looks to be maybe okay. That one here now looks a little bit crooked and way up in the corner of the hole. And then down here, it's barely even lined up at all. And the old core support was rusty and nasty. So I don't know if it was losing structural rigidity and that has shifted over time, or if maybe they just kind of wallered that out and put it on there crooked. I just don't know enough about that situation at this moment. I have more research to do, and that's why I'm asking you guys. What do you think about that door gap situation? Do you think that the front clip is sagging? Do you think that it was put on incorrectly? Do you think that it's mostly just door adjustments to take care of that and get it close enough to where I don't need to worry about it? Or that the body mounts will take care of some of that? Any experience that you guys have in that, I would really love to know your thoughts, because I know if there's a will, there's a way, and we can get it straightened out and we can get the door gaps fine. But I have the will, and I'd like to know the way if you guys do, instead of having to try to fiddle around with a bunch of different things and making a bunch of mistakes. If this is something common and something that I'm just maybe overreacting to a little bit. So is the car wrecked? Probably. Does it change the way I feel about the car? Not really. It might just change the order of how I do things a little bit, but honestly, I'm still just going to be plugging away at this car no matter what. And it's awesome that I can get your guys' opinions on how I should do things and prevent me from making mistakes and educate me on things I don't know about. And that's why I want to give back a little bit with the winner of the AC Delco package that I announced a couple videos ago. I know it's not much. I wish I could give out a car on a trailer being pulled by a truck with $50,000 in the trunk, but instead I'm just giving out this air filter, this AC Delco air filter from I think the 70s, with this oil filter, AC Delco oil filter, and these AC Delco spark plugs, I believe also from the 70s. So this little package is my way of giving back. And I plan to do this a whole lot more in future videos. But the winner of this is going to be... Okay, so I'm picking the winner right now. I just went to the comment section of the video where I posted this, and I'm just randomly scrolling down, randomly scrolling up, and now I'm just going to pick the first one I see. And the winner is Leland Avance W1G. You're the winner. Congrats, Leland. I'll get this stuff over to you ASAP. I'll comment on your comment, and if you don't see that, comment on this video and we'll get you all set up. That was fun. Next time I'm in the storage unit, I'll go in there and dig through the new old stock parts again and find something else to give away to you guys, because I feel like I need to give back to you for all the information, comments, advice, education, and support that I've gotten from you over the year, a little over a year that I've been doing this. So thank you. I think that ought to wrap things up for this week. Let me know what you think. Do you think the Corvette was wrecked? What do you think I should do about that cracked up wheel well? Do you think that the front clip was put on crooked, or do you think that the doors are just out of alignment? Regardless of what has happened to the car, it really doesn't matter. I'm still gonna keep plugging away. Right now, I'm just figuring out the best path in which to plug. But I'm putting together a plan so we can do a big push on this car and make quite a bit of progress coming up. I got the Impala I'm finishing up. I should be able to sell it, get some funds in which to be able to put into this car on top of some funds that I already have stashed away. I got the engine for it ready to go, so in the coming months, I really hope to start making some big progress on this car. I'm not sure right now at this moment if I'm going to dig into the engine bay of this car or dig into the parasitic drain on the Impala right now, but either way, it ends up good for this car right here. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to have for you next week, but I'm looking forward to seeing you then.